Hey guys, it's Haley and I am back on the floor for another bookish video. What's up, you guys? Ooh, I just exposed myself that I'm wearing sweatpants.
Sorry, what did you think I was gonna do? Put on jeans to sit on the floor and talk about books? Absolutely not.
So, as you can tell from the title, today is gonna be my October wrap up. Literally, every time I film, this is no exaggeration, every time I film, these dogs just get a hankering, a thirst, if you will, for water. They need to quench their little palates, and then all you hear in the background is, there he goes, the culprit. Okay, so let's get into stats before I wrap up all these books. I read 15 books in total this month. I actually read 5 YA and only 10 adult, which is a crazy ratio for me. I also read 5 books by male authors and only 10 by female authors, which is...
Why am I reading so many men?
Anyway, very surprising ratios for those numbers. I read 2 audiobooks and 2 ebooks as well. The other 11 were physical books. Let's wrap up. Okay, let's just do this wrap up because I'm in a weird mood. If you can't tell, I'm doing internship applications and interviews all day, and it is a tax on my brain. So let's get into the genres. I read 3 horror, 8 mystery thrillers, 3 fantasy. Who predicted that? Who is she? Why is she reading fantasy? Nobody knows. And 1 contemporary this month. That is wild, especially for October. I thought it would be all thrillers, or I guess all thrillers and horror. But fantasy?
She's changing.
And then my average rating across all 15 books was a 3.7 out of 5. Which is absolutely pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. Usually my average rating is a 4 or a 4.2 or 4.3. So to go down a half a star completely, I mean, it makes sense because of some of the reading vlogs that I did this month. They're not books that I would typically choose to pick up and read. I think that probably has to do with it. I don't know. But overall, I read 3 5-star books, 6 4-star books, 4 3-star books, and 2 2-star books. I didn't have any 1-stars or DNFs, which I guess is pretty good, but the rest weren't great. Although we did have 3 5-stars, the rest, I mean, it was just not great. It was not great. So let's just start at the beginning of the month, and we can go in that order. So the first thing that I read in October was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a YA mystery. I would not call it even a thriller, just simply a YA mystery. It has dark academia vibes. Basically, this girl goes to a school for exceptional children, and it's free. It was just created by this old man who wanted to celebrate exceptional children and give them the most amazing independent exploratory education that he possibly could. Well, during the times of this old man, which was in the past, I don't know, in the 1920s or something like that, a murder occurred on campus and a child was murdered. And then the founder of the school's family was kidnapped and taken, and it's presumed that they are dead. So, not great publicity for a new school for exceptional children, but the school is still up and running, and our main character goes there, and she's gonna solve the mystery because she's obsessed with true crime, and surprise, surprise, another murder happens while she's there. Just
wow, what a coincidence. Perfect for her to solve it on her own. Yes.
And she's obsessed with true crime and podcasts and all that, so I really liked those aspects. I rated it a 4-star. This is a 4-star book for me. It's boring. I'll just say that, okay? It's boring. It has the vibes of an Agatha Christie, so if you can't get through a boring book to figure out a mystery, I would not recommend this to you. It is quite long. and it is boring. It is 410 pages, I think. I think if it was 280 pages, this book would have been a 5-star book, but it wasn't. And some things that were discussed, like the stupid drama between the children at the school, I really didn't care about. I just wanted them to solve the mystery. And the ending was a cliffhanger, so they didn't solve the mystery. But I'm very invested in this mystery, which is why I still gave it a 4-star, and I immediately bought the sequel. So, effective. Next up, I read One by One by Ruth Ware. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it despite some of the negative reviews that I'm seeing floating around Goodreads. I think if you're considering reading it, you should definitely give it a try because I really enjoyed it. It is about a woman who gets roped into going on this retreat for like this company in the like mountains of like France or something to go skiing with all of her former co-workers. So she used to be a part of this company. She's no longer a part of this company, but she goes with them on this retreat. And there's a reason why she's there, and you figure it out, and then things start to go wrong and people start to die one by one. If you want to know my full thoughts, I have a vlog where I read my 2 most anticipated reads that came out in 2020. It was One by One by Ruth Ware, and then the next book that I read, which was Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I love Lisa Jewell with my whole heart, and this is my favorite book of hers that she's ever written. It was an easy 5-star. It sucked me in from the first chapter. We get dual perspective. It's about a missing girl that no one knows where she went and the circumstances, and everyone else and the other perspectives are like somehow tied in, but you don't know how they're tied in. Oh my god, it's so good. Please go read this book, and if you want to see my like live action reactions to reading this, again, I will link that vlog where I was reading my 5-star predictions. So next up, I got into some audiobooks. I read Goodnight Beautiful by Amy Malloy, and this is a hard one. So probably the first 2/3 of this book was a 5-star. It was a really effective and interesting thriller. It had a lot of twists. It had a huge twist that I did not see coming anywhere, but it came at about the 60% mark, and from there, the book just
Went downhill fast.
The last third of the book was probably a 2-star, maybe 1-star read for me. So I just evened it out and gave it a 3-star, and that really pained me, honestly, because the first like 60% and that twist was phenomenal, but the ending was absolutely horrible. Basically, what happens in this book is there's a man, he's a therapist. I love characters that are therapists because I'm a therapist, so it's a really interesting thing to read about, not only just because I can relate to some of the things, but also I just like to see which thriller authors like know how to accurately portray the therapy profession. I've actually been thinking about doing a video like that, like I read books with therapist characters and say how accurate it is, if the things they're doing they would actually get away with, if it's ethical. Like I think that would be an interesting video. I don't know if y'all would watch that or be interested in it. Let me know down below if you would be interested in that. But yeah, this man's a therapist and he's renting an office space in this like old beautiful mansion where this old woman died, and now there's a caretaker that is like taking care of the house, and they start listening to the therapy sessions through the vent. So this caretaker is just up there chilling, listening to all these people's problems and therapy sessions, which is completely unethical, defies confidentiality, and you would be done. If you were an actual real life therapist and this happened, no, you'd be done. Your confidentiality is shot. And our main character, the therapist, is also going through, Boba, you cannot chew on a loud crinkle toy in the middle of my filming. I'm so sorry, I'm gonna have to take your cheese away. Our main character, the therapist, is also going through a lot of life things, financial problems, so it causes a lot of like thrill and panic. Like, I don't know if anyone else gets really anxious when people have like financial problems in thrillers. Hello, Boba. I took away your cheese and now all you want to do is annoy me, huh? I don't know if anyone else gets anxious reading about financial problems in thrillers, but that is like a very thrilling aspect for me. Maybe that just tells you that I'm getting old. But yeah, that was very thrilling. The twist. Oh my God, the twist. Whoa, it came out of nowhere. And I like twists where you can go back and see how there was like foreshadowing that you didn't pick up on before the actual twist. So I really appreciated that. But the ending was basically a ripoff of a really iconic thriller. And I knew how it was going to end because it was ripping off this other thriller. And it also spoils that book. So if you haven't read it, that sucks. But I also don't want to say what it is because then that spoils the entire book. I don't know. Try again, Amy. The next audiobook that I listened to on Libro FM was Leave the World Behind. This, I don't know even how to tell you what this is about. This was a 3-star, like, speculative literary horror weird novel for me. I see a lot of people rating it really highly, and I'm really confused because the whole thing just seemed really jumbled and pretentious, if I'm being quite honest. I can see what the author was trying to do, but the execution was simply not there for me. So what this book is about is this white family who goes on a vacation, and they're staying in this basically Airbnb, and then their first night there, the family that owns the actual house, the Airbnb house, they're a black couple, and they show up scared for their lives because like something is happening and they're in danger, and there's like weird undertones of like race and class, and I liked those social commentary conversations. That was pretty much the only part that I liked about this book. I thought it was going to be, by that synopsis, like a Get Out kind of situation, kind of like When No One Was Watching by Alyssa Cole, and I really did enjoy that book. This was not that. It was weird. There was a whole chapter that was basically a long grocery list for what this white woman was buying at the grocery store, and I really didn't care about it. There were like weirdly sexual scenes where like a dad is like playing in the backyard with his kids on vacation, and then he like starts to touch himself under his swim trunks.
Ew, ew, ew. No, no, no. Absolutely not. I don't want it ever.
So that was a no for me. But I did enjoy the social commentary and some parts near the end, although it was really like weird, and I felt like the author was just throwing random weirdness in there to freak you out. Some of that actually was effective and did freak me out. So gave it a 3-star, pretty average. There are pros, there are cons. Read it for yourself and figure it out. So next up, I read these 3 books. I read American Royals by Catherine McGee and gave it 4.5 stars. I gave Beartown by Frederick Bachman 5 stars. And The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, I gave 4 stars. If you want to hear my full thoughts about all of these books, go ahead and watch the Secret TBR reading vlog that I did. Spoiler alert, it was reading Mare from Mare Read's favorite books. So I think it was a really fun vlog. I had a lot of fun filming it and reading all of these books. So go watch that if you haven't yet. After that, I went ahead and picked up Majesty, the sequel to American Royals, also by Catherine McGee, obviously. Spoiler alert, I really loved American Royals, and so I just had to go get the sequel, Majesty, and I love this one as well. If you don't know what this series is about, this is... Wait, I can't give that away, who this is, because that would be a spoiler for American Royals. Okay, I'm gonna put a timestamp here, and if you haven't read American Royals, skip to that, because I'm gonna spoil it. So obviously this is Queen Beatrice. She used to be Princess Beatrice, but now she has the throne. And this follows her journey becoming Queen of America. Obviously, American Royals follows the American royal family if George Washington became the King of America instead of becoming the president, which I just love that concept. I think it's so interesting. This book is following 4 women that are either in the royal family or adjacent to the royal family, and their journeys in love and life and drama. And I absolutely love the drama. I love every single character that we're following in this series except for Nina, because she is whiny and annoying and she just needs to get it together. But everyone else, I love their perspective. I can just consume these books. Like, during one of my classes, we had like a presentation thing from like a student, like they were presenting their final project or whatever, and I just really didn't care about what they were presenting on, and it obviously isn't going to be anything like in the class because it was just somebody's presentation. So I muted them during Zoom and I read this book during their presentation because I could not put it down. I'm sorry to that man.
I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street, I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
But I just had to read this. These are like compulsively readable, and I'm not a YA reader. In my opinion, these don't necessarily read as much like YA because we do get the perspective of Beatrice and she's older, and I really related to her the most. She's my favorite perspective in these books, and yeah, I think if there's another book, I will definitely be reading it. The next 3 books that I read during October are The Perfect Mother by Amy Malloy, Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris, and There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. So this was for a secret TBR video. Obviously, I'm not going to give it away, and I'm also not going to give away what I thought about these books or how I rated them, because that would just give away the whole point of y'all watching this vlog that's gonna come out in a few days. So be on the lookout for this vlog to figure out all my thoughts on these 3 books. Next up, I read Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare.
Caesar. I don't really know. Like, I would say Caesar, but this is not spelled like Caesar, you know, like Julius Caesar. Like, this is spelled like Cesare. Cesare.
I don't know. This person. So this is a YA horror about killer clowns and a bunch of teens who get caught up with killer clowns, and it has like a lot of 80s horror movie vibes, but I actually rated this 3.5 stars because I think this should have been set in the actual 80s. You get the small town horror vibes that you like from an 80s horror movie, but it is set in 2020 and I didn't like that. Like, there were like Trump references. The like main group of teens that we're following is like a group of YouTubers, like, but not like cute booktubers, like Jake Paul pranksters.
Neighbor from hell?
And yeah, didn't really enjoy those aspects, but I did enjoy the atmosphere, and it got so gory. Like, it was crazy gory slasher fest at the end. The final twist though was really cheesy. I have a whole Goodreads review about it because I felt really strongly about this book for some reason, so you can go read that if you want. And I also read this during some live reading sprints that I did with a couple friends on my channel, and that was so fun, and you can hear like my live reactions to the absolute insane gore as I'm reading this. So if you want to watch those sprints, I will link them down below as well. Next up, in the days leading up to Halloween, I read Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I gave this 5 stars. This is an adult gothic horror novel about a group of famous horror authors who are all brought to this creepy haunted house to do an interview on Halloween night. very spooky vibes. Wow, amazing. Sounds like a great concept. Except the house latches onto them and things start happening. And this book is told in 5 parts, and every single part leaves you at the end with a twist, with a cliffhanger, with an event that is so shocking, so insane. The imagery in this book, the figurative language in this book, the descriptions in this book, my God, this is some of the best horror writing I have ever read. This is like, to me, Stephen King level. I'm just gonna say it.
Wow.
I absolutely loved this book to pieces. It was terrifying, horrifying, like actually scary. And I know Caroline Johnson also really liked this book as well. She said it scared her. It definitely scared me, and we are 2 bitches who are hard to scare. So that speaks to the level of horror that is in this book. It is also pretty gory in the last couple parts. The only drawback is if you don't like long books, this is over 400 pages and the font is like really tiny, like teeny tiny. So it did take me a while to get through this book, but I really enjoyed my experience reading it, so I'm not even mad about it. But if you don't like long books, maybe this wouldn't be for you, but actually just read it because it's really good. And the last book that I read in October, I actually read the day before and on Halloween, and that is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. I give this 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite Hercule Poirot mystery that I've read, but I still really enjoyed it. Obviously, you go in and you know what you're gonna get with a classic Agatha Christie mystery. This follows Hercule Poirot as he investigates the death of a little girl that happens at a children's Halloween party. It gives you all the fall vibes. It gives you all of the mystery. And the only drawback is that I did guess the killer like halfway through, maybe, no, not even halfway through, like in the first like few chapters. And that almost never happens to me with Agatha Christie. It's usually a big shock, so that's why I did take off 2 stars, but I had to give it 3 stars for the vibes and for Hercule Poirot because I love him. So yeah, those are all of the books that I read during this wonderful month of October. And yeah, I was in a little bit of a slump this month and I was feeling a little bit discouraged about BookTube. I posted a video talking about it and the response that I got from you guys was absolutely incredible, amazing. I could not ask for better subscribers and a better community on this channel. I absolutely love you guys and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart so much. Why am I about to cry? I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.